will the vaccines work? With 500,000 deaths in the US and 2.5 million worldwide, we're all anxious for vaccines. But how we go forward with vaccinating the population and controlling the continuous spread will determine the true success of the vaccines. I'm Mitch, and let's talk about it. Before we go forward, there are numerous sources used throughout the video, and all of them will have links in the description with the timestamps for you to check out as well. However, I might mention the source within the video if it is the CDC or a publishing journal. So, going on and starting with the hard data. There are 3 vaccines recently approved by the FDA, and 1 more might be in the works. Starting with the first one, Pfizer. Results from the Pfizer/BioNTech vaccine trial were published in the New England Journal of Medicine. The data showed that the vaccine reduced the risk of COVID-19 by 95%. The trial enrolled nearly 44,000 adults, each of whom got 2 shots, spaced 3 weeks apart. Half received the vaccine, and half got a placebo. So, going on to the second one, Moderna. Based on evidence from clinical trials, the Moderna vaccine was 94.1% effective at preventing laboratory-confirmed COVID-19 illness in people who received 2 doses who had no evidence of previously being effective. That is from the CDC. Going on to the third one, Johnson & Johnson. Data released by Johnson & Johnson suggests that 1 dose of vaccine was 66% effective in preventing moderate to severe COVID-19 and 100% effective in preventing COVID-19 related hospitalization and death. 66% might be kind of low in preventing COVID-19 in the first place. But remember, that is one dose, and 1 dose is still pretty encouraging in comparison with the 2 doses. But what people fail to realize is how we would get these out without bringing racial bias into it, preventing the expiration of vaccines, and how we go forward with the majority of the population vaccinated. So let's start with the second point. The vaccines expiring has presented itself as a serious issue with the recent snowstorms in Texas. The 10 or 11 doses in a vial are viable for 6 hours after the seal is punctured. As millions of Texans lost power last week, local health officials scrambled to administer their COVID-19 vaccine supply, while roads worsened and doses thawed because of power outages. But the issue went beyond shipping delays. The state health agency reported 969 wasted doses in its February 19 weekly report, the latest data available. That is from the Statesman. 6 providers around the state reported wasted doses because of a natural disaster or power outages. These wasted doses could have prevented COVID cases and even deaths, but just due to the weather, nearly 1,000 were unusable. However, there is comforting news as more cost-effective and less bulky freezers, as well as better vaccine resistance, are coming along.
This is perfect, I think. Very important. We think it's required for everybody.
It's historic. I mean, nothing like this has ever happened. I haven't had a vaccine since polio.
But when we knew that we were going to be getting 31,000 doses for this week, we knew we had to go big. And so Texas Motor Speedway, which is a great partner for us, was a logical choice. They have a 131-acre campus here. It's the largest place in Denton County and one of the few places that you could do 10,000 cars a day coming in.
It's a big difference, sense of freedom right now to say, at least we won't be hospitalized, and that's itself is a big deal. Not that we are going to relax, but I think the last 9 months has been completely stuck at home.
Yes.
Sure. So this provides some sort of a secure feeling in the family.
Be able to have some hope to meet the friends and relatives back again after a year almost. I think that's a good feeling. Meet some humans finally.
We're in Texas, of course it's the biggest and the best.
And moving on to racial bias. Racial bias was already a significant problem with the influenza vaccine, with elderly African Americans and Hispanics consistently reporting lower rates of influenza vaccines. In 2002, only 48.5% of elderly African Americans and 50.7% of Hispanics reported receiving the vaccine, compared with nearly 70% of whites. That's from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Disparity in influenza vaccination has substantial impact on minority population health. In recent years, influenza has accounted for upwards of 50,000 deaths annually. 90% of these deaths occur among the elderly. Based on estimated 2.9 elderly African Americans and 2.1 million elderly Hispanics, the elimination of racial and ethnic disparity in influenza vaccination would result in an additional 1 million elderly minority persons being vaccinated. But the problem right here, right now, is the COVID-19 vaccine. Well, preventing racial disparities and uptake of a COVID-19 vaccine will be important for helping to mitigate the disproportionate impacts of the virus for people of color and preventing widening racial health disparities going forward. Moreover, reaching high vaccination rates across individuals and communities will be key for achieving broader population immunity through a vaccine. Just over half of the states with publicly available plans have at least one mention of incorporating racial equity into their considerations for targeting of priority populations. Some states expect to explicitly prioritize people of color, while others report using broader measures. Some states have made equity a primary guiding principle and central focus of their vaccine distribution plans. For example, states like Maine, California, Louisiana, Oregon, and Washington are embedding work groups, task forces, or teams focused on health equity into the organizational structures designing and leading distribution plans. As distribution plans continue to develop and are being carried out, addressing access challenges and conducting effective outreach and communication can help reduce barriers to vaccination among people of color. Making the vaccine available in places that can be easily accessed through multiple modes, maybe car or walk up, during hours that can accommodate different work schedules, and ensuring people know how to obtain the vaccine at no cost may reduce access-related barriers, particularly for people who are uninsured and may not have an established relationship with a healthcare provider. As these vaccination plans are carried out, it will be important to consider their implications for equitable access to the vaccine, particularly for people of color. Most of the data from that previous section was from kff.org. Go check them out. They're a great website. They're centered around mainly health equity, and they're really good. So finally, our future with the vaccines in arms. I believe that mass vaccination is an achievable goal, even with racial equity. However, mass and social distancing, unfortunately, will most definitely remain a main part of life after the majority of the Earth's population has been vaccinated. We cannot risk another outbreak with a possibly stronger mutation that we have been seeing examples of in England and Africa. I have faith, and I hope you all stay safe. You and I are still here, and I hope to see you some sunny day.